Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome. You joined us on Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is Mangalam Malu. Mangalam, good afternoon. It's quite a historic day for our Indian markets. Both Sensex and Nifty scaled newer heights. Sensex was above 37,000 levels for the first time and Nifty 50 is still hovering around its all-time record highs. What's also good is that the mid-cap index is participating over 0.5% up, and advanced decline is looking quite solid at this point because of mid-caps really participating. But today could be also a day for the bank Nifty, which is up over 1%, and some of the heavyweights like State Bank of India, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank are the biggest contributors today to the market. But keep an eye out on Kotak Mahindra Bank, which has seen a huge amount of profit booking in last few trading sessions and is beaten down today as well. Mangala.
Absolutely. Just keep an eye out on ICICI Bank. That is at the high point of the day. Along with that, we have Eicher Motors too gaining as we speak. Some lines coming onto your screen. That was, I believe, from Cogensis, which said that the Supreme Court will allow import of petcoke for cement and limestone industries. The big thing that we need to know from here is how many of them will be able to import at prices which are comparable to the domestic prices itself. So we'll need to know more details before taking a look at any of these individual cement stocks. And also this is coming from agencies, so we'll wait for some clarification. But it is the expiry, FNO expiry. A couple of options, they should come up for you on your screen. 11,150 put, which is the nearest to where we are right now. That one's seeing a lot of writing. The bulls believe they can hold on to that mark and protect it. 8 rupees is the premium that there is out there. Add to that, we have the 11,150 call. That one has around 30 rupees of premium. That means close to around 40 rupees is the cumulative premium on these two options. We will watch out for whether that range comes by or not. Add to that, we also have the 11,200 call, which is seeing some writing. So it'll be very interesting to see that. But meanwhile, we will be joined by Nigel in a bit. Let's just focus on that news which is coming from Cogensis. The Supreme Court has allowed import of petcoke for cement and limestone industries. We need to know what the difference in terms of prices for both are and whether this makes a big difference or not. Nigel, how important is this?
Well, this is, in fact, as going by the details that we have, Supreme Court is allowing the use of petcoke for cement and limestone industries. Mangalam, this is very, very important. I'll tell you why. Because there was a fear that if this is not allowed, then the cost of manufacturing cement goes up. To give you a few numbers, out of the total cost of manufacturing, 30% is accounted for by power and fuel cost. Now, if in fact this was barred, then there could be a possibility of them shifting to coal. If that happened, then that cost is nearly 10% higher than the use of petcoke. Right. So the stocks really that you should be looking at is Shree Cement. I think that will have the highest impact. Right. Why? Because Shree Cement, uses the highest amount of their mix is petcoke, 90-95% or even more at one point of time. That's the stock. I told you, Shree Cement will react very, very positively to this set of news because it's most dependent on petcoke and other manufacturers as well. You have the likes of Ultratech Cement, ACC, Ambuja, all of them. This is a bit of a relief that's come in there. Some part of the street was expecting, yes, they will allow us to import petcoke, but this is definitely very, very good news. A few numbers as well, that I can remember. Around 24 million tons is the total petcoke that's required by, by the cement industry. Importantly, close to around half, 50% is imported, 50% is used domestically. Now, Reliance Industries, they were going to start using petcoke for their own captive needs. So there was a fear that the availability of petcoke will go down. Now with this, at least the imports can continue coming in there. So I think this is a positive. The stocks as is were moving higher on the back of good numbers. But Shree Cement, Dalmia Cement, you'll have an Ultratech Cement that nearly around 70-75% of their mix is dependent on petcoke, and ACC and Ambuja as well. They as well. So it's a good, it's a good news basically. Dalmia Bharat as well has moved higher. They as well have a good amount of their fuel mix is dependent on
price difference. You said was 10%.
10%. Even on the call with Ultratech Cement, they had indicated if the ban comes in there and if they had to change to coal, then that is 10% higher. So this is good news for the cement industry.
All right, Nigel, thanks so much for putting in to perspective that particular bit of information. Low cost raw material as well as availability of raw material. That's really boosting Shree Cement. Overall, cement pack is looking good on the back of some good earnings. Well, talking about big earnings due today, ITC, Maruti and Dr. Reddy's Limited will be reporting their Q1 numbers today. And we have with us Sonia Ekta joining us with all the expectations. Manglam, you can go start first. You should be expecting ITC anytime soon.
Absolutely, should be coming anytime soon. So the key numbers to watch out for ITC, remember, will be the revenue growth. We'll have to look at the street is expecting around 8.5% in terms of revenue for ITC. At the same time, the margins are likely to stay stable. So that means the EBITDA also likely to grow by about 9%, a 20 basis points hike in ITC's earnings estimate. That shouldn't be a problem. Net profit should grow by about 11%. Now the important parts for ITC. Watch out for the cigarette EBIT business, because cigarette revenues will not be comparable, the reported revenues. On the basis of that, perhaps the street will be able to infer volumes, which the street expects to decline from 0 to 2% is where the expectations are. A part of the street also believes that there could be a positive surprise, 1 to 2% in terms of volume growth. So we will watch out for that. FMCG others business, there the revenue growth is seen between 9 to 12%. Out there, the important part is how the EBIT pans out, because the last 4 quarters we have seen the EBIT for FMCG others business grow from 5 crores to about 91 crores. The management has been positive on this segment. Hindustan Unilever also said that they are expecting some competitive intensity to heat up. Hotels business, the industry is looking good. So out there, the revenue is seen higher by about 9 to 10%. We will watch out for how ITC performs. But meanwhile, I think we should refocus on the cement story itself. The Supreme Court has allowed import of petcoke, and that has caused a spike in Shree Cement, which uses the highest amount of petcoke as a raw material mix. We also have Prakash Diwan joining us now on the phone line. Prakash, the cement stocks were already doing well over the last couple of days, boosted by ACC's numbers, now further boosted by Ambuja Cement's numbers that came by yesterday, and this comes as an incremental positive, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And, so if you recall, Ultratech was the only one which had flagged off certain, doubts and fears about the input costs going up. And, of course, some of the larger players also have the reliance on petcoke, heavy reliance on petcoke, including Shree and all. So this is a relief. So what the NCLT take it away, probably this will give it but my sense is this.
All right, Prakash, we've got you on a scratchy line. So that's an important development for the entire cement pack, and some of the companies stand to benefit more than the others. So they have really done well in the markets, in the trade.
With a gain of almost 45 points, closer to that 50-point mark, but there is a triple century which is coming on the Nifty Bank, 320 points there. And ICICI Bank, we were talking about moving higher. Axis Bank has now joined that party, has moved to the high point of the day. But another couple of stocks from the Nifty which are moving higher. We have Eicher Motors, which was looking strong in the morning and is now up by about 4.5%, has crossed that 28,000, closer to that 28,500 mark. So we will watch out for that. The two-wheeler space was abuzz with a lot of competition at the entry level. Eicher Motors definitely not an entry-level bike, so the street is taking note of that. We will watch out for that, but a lot of a big exclusive and perhaps a deal. We told you last week about Hindalco's likely big acquisition of Alris International, and now sources tell us that it is likely to be announced as early as today. Nisha Podar, who's been tracking this story, is with us. Nisha, it's likely today?
That's right, Manglam. That's what we are gathering. Though Aditya Birla Group has called us for a press conference, and that's starting at 4 p.m. But since the time that announcement was made by Aditya Birla Group, the stock has really come down, come off its low point of the day, right now 2.5% down. What I am gathering from sources in the market is that they're expecting some negative surprise or a higher price. But what sources with direct knowledge have shared with us at CNBC TV18, which we have been reporting for a week now, is that $2.5 billion is the acquisition price, which will be a mix of both debt as well as cash. And in that, $1.8 billion could be the debt that could be taken up by Novelis from Alris. And on the other hand, $700 to $800 million from the cash reserves can be utilized. Hindalco may look at also an ADR listing at a later date to fund this acquisition. Now remember, the big inside story that we have gathered here is also the reason behind this acquisition, and it's clearly first the automotive business in which Hindalco has been increasing, or Novelis has been increasing its space and is buying that out, and also the global footprint in terms of North America and Europe and entering into the defense space. So this will be a big transaction, and announcement is today as we had reported.
All right, we will watch out for that announcement, the press conference which is called today. But let's shift focus back to earnings. A lot of them expected in the next 30 minutes to 1 hour. Sonia standing by to tell us what we can expect from auto major Maruti. Sonia, a good quarter expected?
Well, it's going to be in the fast lane, definitely. Maruti this quarter around, I mean, the revenue growth continues to be quite good. In fact, you know, Maruti has made a comeback. The stock has rallied almost 17% from the lows that we saw in the month of May, perhaps in anticipation of good numbers. On the revenue front, we're expecting a growth of almost 30%. That's because the volume trajectory has been solid this time around. A 24% volume growth is what Maruti has clocked in. Realizations are also expected to go up this time because they've sold more amounts of Baleno, Brezza, the Swift and the Desire. In fact, put together, the Baleno, Brezza, Swift and Desire have contributed now over 40%. If you look at the profit growth as well, it's almost a 46% profit growth that we're expecting from Maruti this time around to come in at 2,276 odd crores, and they have a margin leverage too. Now, you know, also what Maruti might be enjoying lately is a flight to safety premium away from two-wheelers and to four-wheelers like Maruti, because we are seeing intense price cuts in the two-wheeler space, so much competition there. So perhaps investors moving out of stocks like Bajaj Auto and Hero MotoCorp and into Maruti. What would be important from the management standpoint is to find out what's happening with their capacity, what kind of growth targets they have for the full year. They've spoken about a double-digit growth, but let's see, you know, whether the trend continues to be on the upside. For now, the numbers expected to be quite good.
All right, it's thumbs up expected. Thanks, Sonia, for that. And in fact, Maruti numbers is something that we are expecting anytime soon. Take a look at that stock while we still wait for those numbers to really come in, and that stock will start reacting to the numbers. In fact, take a look at what we have been expecting in terms of the Maruti's numbers as well.